Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and I am back to work in the Coffin Journal. I'm working on one of the flaps and adding one of the paper dolls from Tim Holtz. I thought he went perfectly on this flap, and I'm using him as a tuck spot. And that was the only little touch that I wanted to add to this flap at the moment. It just came to me, ooh, I can add him here. So I went ahead and placed him. Now this is the flap that I kind of want to focus my attention on next. And I want to figure out how to incorporate envelopes into this piece. So I'm not sure how I want to do it, and I'm just experimenting with different placement. And then I decide, well, it's not going to work to have the flaps go over the edge of the main flap. So what if I do stacked envelopes? So that's how I'm going to embellish this side of this flap. I am going to do stacked envelopes. So here I am placing the envelopes the way that I want them to fall. I have a piece of scrap cardstock that I'm using as the base to attach the envelopes to. You saw me pulling off a sticker there. That is one of the envelope packaging pieces that comes with your Creative Studio sub box. So I'm using that. And I'm going to go ahead and ink everything up with black soot, Tim Holtz Distress ink. Well, I'm going to ink everything that's not already black. So I'm inking up the craft colored envelopes. And of course, I'm inking up the base piece of cardstock that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and mat these before I attach them to the base of the cardstock. And I'm using some of the scraps from other areas in the journal to do the matting. Here I'm adjusting the mats, making sure I have the right paper on the right side, and checking out how they look next to each other. I'm trimming the mat for the small envelope. And I'm going ahead and inking up all the mats. And gluing them to the envelopes, and I'm making sure to glue them so that if I decide I want to open the envelope like I'm doing here, that it will be an actual pocket on the inside. And here again, I am opening the envelope by just cutting off a slither on the edge, and now we have a pocket. So now that all the envelopes are matted and I've opened any pockets that I need to open, I'm going to go ahead and start attaching to the base. So I've lined all the envelopes up the way that I want them to appear, and then I'm just going to glue down the flaps on the back of the base piece. And so now everything opens and flips and closes the way that it should. And I'm going to use a thin piece of black ribbon as a closure. Using some of my artist tape to hold that in place. So now I'm going to start doing some of the embellishing for the stacked envelopes. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss this floral piece from Tim Holtz. I think it's one of the botanicals. And I'm using the glaze. I can't remember what it's called. It's late. I'm tired. But yeah, I'm going to use this glaze to emboss it. So it is a tinted glaze, basically, embossing powder. Everything that I use as far as tools and supplies will be linked in the description box below if I'm able to find a link online for it. So I am using my heating tool to set that embossing powder. And there we go. So it made it look more vintagey and old. It tinted it a little bit, and I'm just going to ink around the edges, and I want to use this as a tuck spot. So I'm only going to put glue on 2 sides so that you can easily tuck something into the pocket. And I just put my acrylic block on it to hold it in place while the glue sets. And on the other envelope, I'm going to use a piece of scrap to make another tuck spot. So I'm just rounding the corners, finding the center, and I'm going to use my 1-inch punch to punch a thumb pull slot into the piece, ink it up. And then I'm adding a little glue to 3 sides. So 2 little tuck spots or pockets, and so I'm going to add some more. This one will be more of like a secretarial style pocket, and maybe I can use that other triangular piece somewhere else as a tuck spot. Also considering using the Tim Holtz bats on this piece. I'm just kind of experimenting with different pieces and placements. My intention wasn't really to completely embellish this, just to get it started and get it ready to go. That is how I make a stacked envelope. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.